day by day counts are increasing a lot and lot of confusion among the general public as well as the panicking everywhere. First understand one thing, COVID positivity and the COVID disease is definitely not a 100% lethal disease. Almost 85% to 90% of the people recover from the disease. So first understand about the disease fully. When you are becoming COVID positive, your virus entered 3-4 days earlier itself in your body. First make sure that you are informing your friends and family who are all in contact with you for the last 4-5 days, so that they should quarantine themselves and they can monitor their the symptoms. Once the symptom comes, you can go for a RT-PCR, the COVID RT-PCR test that shows whether you are positive or not. Even when you have symptoms like fever, cold and sore throat as well as the body pain, loose motion, these kind of symptoms are there at this stage, we should not consider any other disease except COVID, even your RT-PCR is negative. So you isolate yourself and treat you as a COVID positive patient. There is now nothing called common cold and fever at this age. Even if it is common cold and fever, better to isolate yourselves and tell yourself that I am COVID positive. But nothing to worry about. Few things you have to monitor at home so that you need not go to the hospital at all for the COVID treatment. When in need, when in doubt, you have definitely meet a doctor. If you are accessible to a doctor easily, go and meet them and get the consultation. Doesn't mean that you should not consult the doctor, because lot of patients becoming positive nowadays. Even going to the hospital is dangerous, and meeting a doctor itself is difficult nowadays. That's the reason I am giving you information so that you can handle yourself at home as much as possible. So few things you need to monitor here. First is the temperature. So you monitor your temperature every 6th hourly and write it down in a diary. If your temperature is more than 100 degree Fahrenheit, you can take the paracetamol tablet. Don't take Brufen, Imol or Oviron, these kind of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So sometimes even for fever persists more than a week. So don't worry, as long as the fever there, if it crosses 100, take the paracetamol tablets without any issues. Next thing what you need to monitor is your oxygen saturation. What is oxygen saturation? It is the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. Okay, that is very important in COVID positive patients, because if your lung involved in this process of COVID, what happens is your oxygen carrying capacity will come down, so you slowly start becoming breathless. Sometimes even without becoming breathless, your oxygen saturation comes down slowly, suddenly you collapse. That's the reason. This is called pulse oximeter. It comes in various various companies produce different pulse oximeters, and usually it shows two values. One is your heart rate and other is your the oxygen saturation. The heart rate and pulse rate both are same, so it will be written like a PR, and oxygen saturation will be given like a SpO2. Okay, so how to use the pulse oximeter? The same way, the pulse oximeter also can be used every 6 hourly when you are becoming COVID positive, and put it note it down in the diary as how you are doing for the temperature. Try to put the pulse oximeter in your index or middle finger at the heart level, not direct sunlight. Avoid sunlight exposure during this pulse oximeter checking. Same time, the pulse oximeter works in the principle of the color of the nail bed. So if you are having a nail polish or artificial nail, you have to remove it, or sometimes you can use it in the toe also, but it won't be very correct one. So you try to use your index and middle finger at the heart level without any kind of a coloration or any artificial things in the nail bed. So when you apply it, some pulse oximeters you need to switch on, some pulse oximeter it sends automatically and it shows the values. If you see here, 98 my saturation, 71 is my pulse rate. Now it comes 99 and 73. So the 99, 98 is the oxygen saturation and 71, 72 is the pulse rate. Some people it keep fluctuating, so make sure that you are wearing it for 1 minute, complete 1 minute. and which values stays there for 5 seconds continuously, that is your value. You have to take the pulse oximeter values in two ways. One, at rest, you take adequate rest for 5-10 minutes, then do the pulse oximeter value. Second, walk for 6 minutes and come back and check your pulse oximeter value. So when it is significant, if your pulse oximeter value is less than 95, or after 6 minutes of walking, when you come back, your pulse oximeter value dropped more than 5% of the previous value, it is significant. 5% means roughly 5. So if your earlier is 98, the other one is 93, it is significant. Both the times you need to meet the doctor and get his medical advice about the oxygenation and other things. So according to the pulse oximeter, if it is less than 94, it is going to the moderate disease. If less than 90, you are going into the severe disease. Understand this. One more parameters you need to monitor at home is your breath rate. How much breath you are taking in a minute? How will you calculate? One breath means this is one breath. You can put your palm over the tummy and just normally monitor your breath rate, how many times your tummy rises and goes down, and monitor it for whole 1 minute. So it says your breath rate. Normal breath rate is 12 to 16. If your breath rate is more than 24, it going into the moderate disease. If your breath rate is more than 30, you are going into the severe disease. So along with the pulse oximeter value, you have to correlate. So anything below 94, going in 90 to 94 is a moderate, and below 90 is going into the severe disease. So moderate disease people, you need a admission in the hospital. Severe disease people, you need a ICU setup. Now you are becoming COVID positive. What are the things you need to do? First, you should not panic. You isolate yourself, and you need to follow few things. First, hydrate yourself adequately. When fever is there, your body needs more hydration because lot of water loss will be there through the skin. So you need lot of hydration. So drink adequate water. Urine should not be concentrated, should be a straw color urine. So adequately hydrate yourself and have a proper nutrition. What does mean by proper nutrition? See, in this COVID, lot of inflammatory processes are happening in the body. Lot of foods produce inflammation also. Say example, full non-vegetarian foods, processed meats, and processed food, and like processed meaning from the production, how long it takes you to reach the consumer. Okay, if the period is very long, that is not good for the body. That will produce lot of inflammation. Same way, the protein powders also produce lot of inflammation. So avoid those kind of the food which produce inflammation. So have lot of green leafy vegetables and easily digestible food, and avoid carbohydrate also as much as possible. And protein to the don't take excess amount of protein, adequate protein intake. Lot of doctors prescribe vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D. Few studies shows vitamin D's advantage, and vitamin C, zinc not proven one, but definitely it increases the immunity. Everybody knows from the beginning. Next comes the medications. What are the medications you take? So if you have fever, as I said earlier, take paracetamol 500 milligram, even 4 times a day, up to 2 grams per day for adult you can take. Sometimes you will have allergic symptoms like a cough, cold. You can take a cetirizine along with the Montelukast. Sometimes the soothing lozenges like throat soothing lozenges can be used along with the medications. Sometimes you get gastritis because of all these tablets. You can take a Pantacid along with the domperidone if you have a reflux also. It helps. It comes in various trade names like a Pan-D, Pantop-D, lot of trade names it coming. So use Pantacid along with the domperidone combination, so that most of the time you are lying down, the reflux tends to come. So it prevents reflux. Domperidone prevents the reflux. The Pantacid reduces your acid secretion. It helps. This second way, we see a lot of diarrhea along with the other symptoms. So your the probiotic sachets like Bifilac, Visilac, lot of trade name it comes, it also helps. When will you start yourself on steroids? Steroids are used when your inflammatory markers are high. I am going to tell you what are the investigations you have to do after this. So, the inflammatory markers are high, then you need to be on steroids. This is the management of the mild disease. If you are feeling the breathing difficulty and your oxygen saturation falling, definitely proning helps. If you don't have any symptoms or oxygen saturation is good, you don't need to go for a proning. Proning also helps if you are having started developing shortness of breath or your oxygen saturation is coming down. Proning definitely helps. What are the investigations you do and when you do? That's other big confusion among ourselves. First, you have to do a complete blood count with a peripheral smear. Second, the inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein called CRP and serum ferritin levels and serum LDH levels. These three will show how is the inflammation in the body. If the values are very high, that means body is reacting to the virus in so bad way, so inflammation is everywhere. You don't have much symptoms. If the inflammatory markers are high, you need to evaluate your chest now by doing a CT scan chest or X-ray chest. Why we are always say along with the CT scan X-ray chest, because CT scan will produce lot of radiation damage to the body. So keep repeating the CT scan is not good for the health unless otherwise needed. So you can go with a simple X-ray. Sometimes when you have a doubt, better to go for a CT scan itself. So inflammatory markers are high and even there is no symptom, you have to go for a CT scan or X-ray chest. Third investigations you supposed to do is your bleeding parameters, how the blood clotting ability in the blood, because in the COVID it increases a lot, so you end up in the heart attacks and all deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolism, all these clot related complications. So what are the blood tests you need to do? Prothrombin time, partial thromboplastin time and D-dimer and fibrinogen levels. That shows your clotting capacity in the body. Along with that, do liver function test and renal function test. And as I said earlier, when inflammatory markers are high, you have a shortness of breath, you need to think about going for a CT scan chest or X-ray chest. Almost 80 to 85% of the people are in milder disease form only, so don't panic and jump and get admitted in the hospital, which is not needed. Only proper monitoring by yourself is adequate. And if you have access to a doctor, you can easily go and meet the doctor or do a phone call and get the advice from the doctor telling your symptoms and follow the instructions properly when you have mild disease. When you are moving into the moderate disease, as I said, your pulse oximeter value is less than 94 and your breath rate is more than 24, then you need admission. And when your pulse oximeter values are less than 90 and your breath rate is more than 30, that means definitely you need admission in the ICU. When no symptoms at all, your inflammatory markers are high, definitely you need to do a CT scan chest or a chest X-ray chest and other investigations fully and go and get admitted in the hospital for your IV steroids and other medications. When you understand all those things, you yourself know when to get admitted and don't waste the resources by simply going and searching for the beds when you don't have any the moderate to severe disease forms. When you do this blood test, the other questions, usually we do the blood test after 3 to 4 days of beginning of the symptoms. Even you can do it on as soon as the symptom arises, that will be a baseline value, but ideal will be 3 to 4 days after your the symptom appears. When you need to repeat it, this COVID second wave, we see even the patients are all right for a week and again deteriorate after a week. So keep repeating the blood values, especially the inflammatory markers, every 3 to 4 days, so that you know even without symptoms, sometimes if inflammatory markers are high, you need to meet a doctor and get the steroid doses and the next level of management. So you basically it basically says you are going into the moderate and severe form of the disease. when you are panicking and you get tense, what happens is your heart rate increases, which in turn increases your oxygen demand for the body. So already your lung and other body parts are in compromise. When your oxygen demand increases, it further deteriorates. So don't panic, and whatever it is, even 60-70% of the lung involvement are very nicely managed in the ICUs, and they are went back happily home. So don't think that this is end of the world, and you definitely will come out of the disease easily. So other thing is, when you can mingle with other people, when you can go out after the COVID positivity, usually 10th day, after 10th day you can move with other people, but ideal will be after 15 days, because the second wave of COVID and the mutant strain very difficult to predict. Even after 15-20 days, some people are becoming positive for the RT-PCR. So, but infectivity is only 10 days, and you only keep one more extra week, maybe after 15 to 17 days go out. Even after 15-17 days if you are going out, please do follow all the precautions properly. There is no excuse for that.